Welcome, everybody. I'm Kyle Hines, and I'll be hosting the Players Podcast, a GTM family production in partnership with the EuroLeague Players Association. I will be having in-depth conversations with current and former EuroLeague players about important topics that many athletes face on and off the basketball court. Stay tuned for more episodes. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Players Podcast presented to you by the EuroLeague Players Association. Today, we have a very special guest. He's an ACB champion. He's an NBA draft pick, a former EuroLeague Rising Star winner, Olympic medalist, one of the best players of his generation. My guy, Alex Abrines. Alex, how's everything, man?
It's good. Thanks for the intro.
Oh man, hey man, thank you. Thank you, man. Thanks. Those are all things that you did.
I know. Look better when you said it.
That's my job. Oh man, I appreciate you taking the time, getting on. Obviously I know we both had busy schedules, man, but thank you for joining the podcast and talking about some important topics today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Now, my first question is, Game 5, the final buzzer finally goes off. What are the first emotions that go through your head, of this recent series that you guys had with Zenit?
Hard to tell. I think we felt a lot of pressure during the series. And obviously, we won easy the last game, but still, like when we heard the buzzer beater and we knew we were back in the Final Four after 7 years as a FC Barcelona, everybody felt great. Like you could see the faces after a couple of weeks that we've been struggling trying to beat a great team like Zenit. It was all about happiness. You could see the faces, the coaches also like throwing water to start us after the game.
I seen
that. And it was really nice, especially for the guys, like me, that I was here in Barcelona playing before I went to the NBA, and we played 2014, I guess, the last Final Four in Milan.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, like they've never been there. So it's a big step for the club, and from a way that I see it is putting Barca again on the highest level in Europe. So
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What does it mean to Barca and to the fans and to the club, to be back on the Final Four, especially after last year, we had the season stopped, unfortunately, because of COVID, but, you guys pretty much led the table throughout the whole entire season. So what does it mean to, to the guys in the locker room, but also to the fans of Barcelona?
Yeah, for Barcelona, it means a lot, especially because all those years that we were out of the Final Four, Madrid was winning. So especially for the fans, that's a problem because you could see the opening getting trophies in Spanish League, in EuroLeague, and you were not getting anything. So now that we're back, and well, Madrid is not there, I guess for them it's just like a big pleasure, and I think they're gonna try to enjoy from their houses because it's without the fans. But still, I think they're going to support us and be with us because it's a big time now.
So the opportunity to win your first EuroLeague title, what would that mean to you to be able to, win the championship? Like I said, you've accomplished a lot so far in your career, but what would a EuroLeague Final Four mean to you?
Well, as you said before, like that's the only thing I got left to win, so it means a lot. I got Olympic medals, the Spanish League, Kings Cup, whatever, but I still don't have the EuroLeague trophy, so I'm going for it. I'm sorry because
I know.
But I'm really excited.
I got my journalist hat on today, so I'm not going to talk about the matchup. Okay. But yeah, man, it's obviously it's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be a fun matchup, between us, and it's the Final Four, so the best 4 teams got to play each other. So it is what it is. Now, you alluded to it a little bit about Madrid, but for the fans and for people that don't know and don't understand, describe what El Clasico, the atmosphere, and what does it mean to the people of Spain and to the people of Barcelona, and also to the people of Madrid as well.
I mean, I think it comes a lot from the soccer. Obviously, here in Spain, soccer is the big time, more than basketball, and it's like a big rivalry. Like sometimes it gets really mad per se, because me as a player, I don't want to see that between
Yeah,
fans. But still, like when we go to Madrid and play there Clasico, the fans from there get crazy, and then when they come here, it's about the same. And I think there's this hate relationship between the fans,
hmm
as I said, not the players, because I don't have any
yeah,
problem with the players. um, but I think also the politics kind of get into it. The situation here in Catalonia for the
hmm
last years, they won the independence, and then the Spanish government sent the police a couple years ago when we tried to vote for that. So I think it's all messed up.
yeah.
They're related, like the Spain government with Madrid, and then Barcelona, it's the Catalonia. So that didn't help through the last years, and I think these hate relations, it was getting bad. Now after a year with our fans, maybe it got better, but you never know.
That's what I try to explain to people too. About the rivalries like Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, and like you said, El Clasico, and even like Partizan and Red Star. Like it's more than just a sport. Sometimes, like it's a lot more. When you were in the States, did your teammates ever ask you any questions about it? How would you describe it to them?
Yeah, a little bit, because I remember the first year that we actually came here to play Madrid and Barcelona,
hmm
and they were asking me like how were the fans and stuff, and I always show them videos from, obviously, from Greece or
Yeah.
or Serbia or some of these crazy countries, and they were just freaking out with the fans, with all the smoke, like throwing stuff, coins,
Mm,
whatever, and they were getting like crazy because they never saw that before, and they're used to like a different kind of fans in the States. And I mean, they were saying like, I don't know how you guys can play like this, like
yeah.
there's so much pressure, so much things going on.
Oh yeah. So sometimes I
It
don't even
was,
know how we do it. I
yeah.
guess it's almost as like natural to us now, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Now, Cyrus has, in a short time become one of the most respected coaches in EuroLeague. After work with him, this season, what have you kind of learned from him?
I learned a lot. I mean, he yells like crazy. Doesn't matter if you win, you lose.
Yeah.
He
He's
always finds
intense.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even like he's been coached for what, like 4 or 5 years maybe.
hmm
He's great. I mean, the one of the things he has is like he knows when to push and make you like practice like crazy, or on the games, especially on the games, he gets a
hmm
little bit crazy. But he also knows, like he's been a player, so he also knows when to give like days off, or when to slow down a little bit on the practices, because he knows like the important day is the game day. So that's the thing that I've seen that we didn't have before,
hmm
in last year, or before I went to the NBA. And I mean, it's great. And the thing he knows also, it's in the games, he has the ability to change things, change
Yeah.
some defense when something is not going right, or put some offenses after the timeouts to get like an easy shot or easy bucket. And I mean, he's really good. Obviously, like he has help, but
Yeah.
but he's the main coach, so he's really smart in these situations.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Now, what was your first reaction when you heard that Powell was coming back to Barca? Um, did you believe it? Because like that, like that week was crazy. First they said he signed, and he put out
Yeah,
the video he did sign, and then
he did. Yeah.
then all of a sudden he signed. So what was the reaction to you guys like in the locker room, like kind of going through this?
First reaction was like, how much money does Barca have to pay this guy?
Like
All
the
the
Brooklyn Nets,
situation
man.
going on, and now he's
Yeah.
out. Yeah. No, but I mean, we were so happy when we realized he was coming. Like, obviously, he was injured for like 2 years almost.
Mhm.
So we were kind of like, let's see how he comes, physically, especially. But like as a player, like he was gonna help us a lot. Like he's won everything.
Mhm.
He's been the NBA for almost 20 years, and he has a lot of experience, and he's showing to us, like he's trying to teach us things that we don't see, special situations and offense and defense that might help us, and he's doing a really good job as a leader.
That's good. That's
So
good, man.
he's getting better every day. So
yeah, so he's had I guess you could say, an early impact and an early influence on the team already, you would say.
I mean, it's power, like what you can expect.
Yeah.
Like it's probably the best Spanish player of all time. Like it doesn't matter, he's 40, like he still gets 20 points. And the other day against Zenit, he got 4 blocks and he played amazing. So I hope he can help us a lot in this final part of the season.
I want to ask about the 2016 Olympics. What was the feeling, for you to, represent your country on such a big stage, and something that not many people get an opportunity to feel, to win a medal, to drape your country's flag or hear your country's national anthem being played as you're being awarded a menu. So what was that feeling like for you?
I mean, I'm gonna explain something about the summer, because while we were practicing, it was a tough summer, because first I said no to the NBA, and then after KD left, they came back with another offer, and I finally said yes. So I had to leave for almost a week to sign the contract and pass the medical tests and stuff. So I missed the week of practice with the national team, and it was almost at the end of the training camp. So I didn't know if they were gonna take me to Rio or not, just because I signed with the NBA with Oklahoma. So when I came back and I realized it was between me and San Emeterio, the guy from Valencia, and at the end they told me, like, we're finally gonna get you. I was kind of like nervous, because it's like Olympic Games, like the biggest event of the sports,
the world.
But also, like, I was so happy, because I was gonna, as you said, like I was gonna be able to live something that not a lot of people can live. So after that, and obviously after winning the bronze medal, like it was a really nice experience. We get to meet like other sportsmen from like Rafa Nadal or Michael Phelps was over there, Usain Bolt, and you could see all these people like eating in the same place, like in the table next to you, and like acting like regular people, no? So
super casual,
like
right?
it was like a big time. So it was a really good experience, man. I would like to repeat it this summer in Tokyo.
Well, best of luck to you guys in Tokyo. I talk to Chacho all the time about that, and he's excited. Excited about the opportunity to play in Tokyo. Now, I want to go back to the beginning. When you were younger, what were who were some of your early influences in basketball, and when did you kind of fall in love with the game and know that you wanted to be a professional basketball player?
Well, I started playing basketball when I was 4 years old, because obviously my father played here in the Spanish league for 5 years in second division. So it's always been in my family. Since I was a kid, I was always shooting the ball, so kind of grew up.
That's why you shoot so well now, man. You're doing it such a long time.
So yeah, after like 16 years that I was playing in the school in my hometown in Mallorca, Zaragoza and Malaga came and talked to my parents or my agent, and said they wanted to see me in like a short training camp, like 3-4 days. So that was the moment I was freaking out, because I never left Mallorca, and now going there and showing my skills to people that I didn't know, and like a professional club and stuff, I was impacted. So it was a hard decision, but I finally made through it. And from that moment, I thought, not that I was going to be like a professional in the in like first level, but I had the chance, the opportunity to show up in some kind of better level than I was, and try to reach the goal or the dream that I was having as a kid, that play basketball in like now in Barcelona, Madrid, whoever team, or EuroLeague, and obviously after then the NBA. So if I had to say, after the first year in Malaga, that was the moment that something in my head clicked, and say like I could be like a professional and having a long career in well, whatever city it was.
I have a question that I asked everybody, a lot of guys that played in the NBA and guys that played in EuroLeague. Which debut were you most nervous about? Your senior team debut with Barcelona or your first game with Oklahoma City in the NBA?
I would say NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because NBA is like I mean, when you're like a kid, you also, I mean, you watch games from Barcelona or from Madrid,
Yeah.
from those teams, but you play video games with NBA players and you're always looking highlights of NBA players. So it's kind of like a dream, you know, like you never think about playing in the NBA. You can dream also about playing in Barcelona, but it's not like what you think when you're a kid. You know, you want the best for you. So yeah, when I made it, obviously when I signed the contract and everything, I couldn't believe it. But then the first game, all the fans at home, or I think it was no, I can't remember if it was at home or away, but whatever. Like seeing all the fans, me dressed as a Thunder player next to Russell Westbrook and playing against whatever Steve Curry, LeBron James, and all those guys. I was like, what am I doing here? You know. But yeah, I mean, after you go to the court, you show up, and then the nerves go away. So
Did
yeah,
you
it's
have
really,
like
really
a fan moment? Like, you know, I talked to some guys and they're like the moment I guarded Kobe Bryant, or for me, like when Cheska played San Antonio and Tim Duncan walked on the floor, like it was like, wow, like that's Tim Duncan. Like, did you have a moment, or like when somebody or a certain person walked in the game and you had to like kind of catch yourself, like, oh man, like I have to guard this guy. Like I can't be a fan.
I had a lot of these moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we played LeBron. I don't even think it was the first year. I think it was the second year. And I was going to the bench because Calderon was there. So I was going to say bye to them after the game. And then LeBron was coming in my direction and we shake hands.
Yeah.
He wanted to shake hands and he said like, good job, Abrines. And in that moment, I thought like LeBron James knows who I am. And I was like impact, like I didn't know what to say. So that was like a big moment. Like that was the moment that I put LeBron over Michael Jordan.
Because he knows you now.
Just because he knows me.
that makes total sense. Now, how?
Also,
go ahead.
I also remember one time, like my biggest idol, or one of my biggest idols when I was a kid, was T-Mac, Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
And he was one of the games, I think it was on the sidelines, probably with SPN or I don't know, some TV. And I mean, I didn't have the balls to go there and say like, hi, you know? So I was just staring at him and I was like, man, it's T-Mac over there. But that's the only thing. I couldn't say hello, and then we started playing the game, obviously, and after the game I didn't see him, but yeah, I would say those were the two biggest moments in the NBA for me.
Yeah, like I remember like when I was like coming out of like college and I seen Dwight Howard for the first time, and it was like almost like you see like I seen the pictures, I seen like the commercials and stuff like that, and you're like it doesn't seem real, like, you know, this person walking by, you're just like so I can only imagine for you to like to have to compete against these guys, you know, every single night, like, you know, guys that you know looked up to, or, you know, had posters on your wall, or you play video games with, you know. So sure, that was an amazing experience.
He was.
Now, how did you enjoy? I've been to Oklahoma City. I was there for, you know, summer league and a couple summer camps and stuff like that. But how did you enjoy, you know, living in OKC? You know, you said you're coming from Mallorca, you know, then going to Malaga and then going to Barcelona. And for those who don't know, Oklahoma City, it's a beautiful city. I mean, they have great fans, but it's not Mallorca by far. I mean, so
not even close.
Yeah, not even close. It's a very, very small rural town, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So how was the adjustment, you know, for you? I think the reason why I asked this, a lot of times, you know, especially being overseas, people always talk about Americans, or, you know, making the adjustment, to being in a foreign land, but they never really talk about, it gets talked about very rarely, Europeans making the adjustment, to life in America. So, what was that adjustment like for you? And, did you have like any, like an initial, culture shock, when you first went over?
Well, obviously that, especially the beginning, was kind of hard because obviously the culture, the language, food, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't take me time, maybe because Oklahoma City is not like a huge city.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was kind of easy, There were like 3-4 spots that you need to know, and then a couple of restaurants, and that's pretty much it,
Mm-hmm.
So the city is pretty calm. Me and my wife went there, and it was really easy. The hard part, I would say, was just being alone.
Yeah.
Not for me, because obviously I was practicing every day or traveling, but my wife, especially the first months that she didn't know like other wives, it was hard for her. But once you get used to, I mean, it was kind of easy life. Like just practice in the morning, then just go lunch. As I said, like we had like a couple restaurants that were our favorites, and then a couple spots to go. As you said, you should be there. Like there's like a river walk and one Dave and Buster's,
but the
one
minor league baseball,
theater,
the minor league
it.
baseball team.
That's true, the minor league. And that's pretty much it. Like you had the two universities, but they're a little bit far from the Oklahoma City. And yeah, that's it. I mean, luckily you have Dallas. It's like a 2.5 hour drive. So we went there a couple times, but yeah, as I said, like it's a small town. It was nice though, as you said. Like the fans were crazy and cheering for us. Like you could walk on the streets and they were not bothering you, just saying like hi or nothing. They were not asking for pictures like here in Barcelona or in Spain. So they were really respectful, So it was kind of easy transition.
Was there something about like American culture that like surprised you, or is like a restaurant or like a fast food spot or something like you like you became in love with, like Krispy Kreme, or I don't know, there's something like that, like you went there and you were like, wow, like this is amazing, or something like that?
I would say the only food that I miss right now, it's Wingstop.
Really?
Yeah, we used to get every time that we get on the road. The first plane from Oklahoma, like the first year I had to go there and buy for all the team.
Yeah.
Most of the times, but after that, like the lemon peppers, like
you're a lemon pepper guy.
Yeah, lemon pepper, and my wife too. So we were ordering that like once a week at least.
That's crazy.
Do you think like there's, I mean, it's not like a culture of like food like that you have here in Spain or in Italy, but you always think about fast food or things with a lot of sugar, but it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not healthy.
No,
but it's really good. And it's a problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. I always say like it's not so much I wouldn't say so much the food. I feel like it's the choices. Like you have so many choices there. So it's like, okay, you can go like here, like in Europe, it's like, okay, you can go to McDonald's and maybe they have a Burger King. But in the States, they have a Burger King, they have a McDonald's, they have another burger place, they have, Pizza Hut, this, that, and the other. So like by the time you drive like down the street, there's like 15 different restaurants you pass, and it's like difficult. Or even if you go to the grocery store, there's like 25 different cookies and ice cream, so you're just like, yo, I gotta I gotta try it all.
That was a big problem.
Yeah, man. I almost I go home sometimes and I go to like the Walmart and I'm almost like, yo, why do we have so much stuff here? But I mean, it's part of our culture, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully somebody from Wingstop is watching this, and we got to get you some lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, stores here, man. Because I try to make them here in at home, and there's no way I can make the same. No, not the same. They're not crispy, or the flavor is not the same, or so I don't know the recipe for
yeah, man, we got to. Barca's got to get a Wingstop sponsorship, man. Now, the people, I guess you could say the fans, they on the surface level, they see the contracts, they see the NBA lights, but they don't really see the life behind the scenes. So can you talk about that? You spoke about a little bit about, it's just like, you go to practice and stuff like that. Is there something about the NBA life or lifestyle that surprised you? Because it's a lot different than Europe. Europe, everything is more, to me, it's more team oriented. You go to team dinners, you go to team lunch, up until maybe this year or even last year, majority of teams had roommates. In the NBA, it seemed like there's a lot more isolation, there's a lot more alone time. Talk about that, the NBA lifestyle and how that can have, an impact on you, especially like you said, somebody coming from Europe.
I mean, at the beginning, it was hard, especially on the road trips, because I didn't have any like big friends. I just had teammates. So on the road, like I was just ordering room service for dinner or lunch or whatever. After that, and thanks to Sabonis, Steven Adams, and we had Enes Kanter, we got a lot of players from Europe, but also from outside the United States. So that helped me a lot, and we made a small group, and that helped me a lot. Also in Oklahoma, because like we get to know each other and just go to this house and have a big dinner or go to a restaurant with another player. But yeah, like first months were hard, like as you said, like isolated. I had my computer, I was playing video games in the hotel. And after that, yeah, I mean, especially when you go into Miami or New York or like big cities, you get to know the cities and just going to a restaurant or whatever, just getting out of the hotel, And I also really like that one, that part, because I remember we were getting to the hotel like around 5 p.m. and they were saying, okay, the bus leaves tomorrow at 10. And that was the only rule. So after 5, you could do anything you wanted. Like you could go and visit the city, go outside from dinner, you can go a party if you want. Like, so, and that thing, that's what I missed a little bit from the NBA, because here, as you said, like there's also like a schedule. You get to the hotel, you go to your room. Now you had your own room, but before it wasn't like that. So then you have a team dinner, and it's all in the hotel. Like you can maybe get out of the hotel, but the culture and the coaches are not going to see it like in the NBA, so I think this needs to change.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to talk. We need to talk to somebody to nudge our.
I agree.
Because for the players, it's easy. I mean, we don't have these long trips like in the NBA, like playing away 7 games, but we're starting to get a couple weeks that we play 2 games away, and especially in those moments, that's when you need to give a little to the players, because being like 4 or 5 days outside from your house, it's tough.
I mean, I agree. Like one of the things like my family and my friends always ask me is like, you go to Barca, you go to Madrid, you go to, Istanbul and all these cities. And they're like, well, how are the cities? And I'm like, honestly, we really don't get a chance to really experience it. Like we see the airport, the bus, the hotel, the arena. And then if you fly private, you're usually back home within the next day. So like, I agree with you. I mean, I think that's one of the most fascinating parts about, playing for me as a foreigner, playing overseas basketball, is the opportunity to, experience these cultures and experience these things. So I agree with you 100%, man. I think that has to be something that, has to change, and hopefully eventually will change, in the future.
Yes, it pisses me off. Like you visit maybe 30 cities over Europe.
Yeah.
And what you know about these cities?
Absolutely
really
nothing.
Like,
nothing.
So
nothing. Yeah, man. Hopefully one day it'll change before I get too old and retire. I want to ask you about Russell Westbrook. He just recently passed Oscar Robertson's triple-double record, and you were teammates with him. So, just talk about, what type of person he is, and, where do you think because right now the debate is, is he, where is he at as far as the historical, as far as players, where do you think he, kind of lies in the history of players, and, what type of teammate and what type of person was he, during your time with him?
Well, as a person, he's a 10. He helped me a lot, especially in my first year, because I was the rookie. So he showed me the way to play in the NBA, because it was different to Europe. He helped me on the road trips, especially the beginning. Like he was taking me and Domas to the movie theaters or to restaurants. Or and as a player, as you said, like I think right now, if you don't win championships, you're kind of in another level. You know, they give a lot of importance to winning the ring of the NBA, and you can see like players like John Stockton, like he's one of the best point guards ever, and he didn't win a championship. Russ, he might get one, I don't know, in Washington, but he's doing historical things that no one ever see that, like, and putting numbers like 20, 18, 18.
Yeah.
Like you've never seen that.
Video game numbers.
Yeah, like yeah. So as a player, I understand like the people that think about like this, but I was there, and just watching him as a basketball player, like he's unbelievable. Like his body was born to be something else, you know. Because he was, obviously I didn't see him working out in summer, but during the season, because he was playing like 40 minutes a game, he wasn't practice that much. He wasn't on a gym a lot. Like I was going more to the gym than him, I would say. But he was putting that crazy numbers every night. So you could see like some people they're born to do that, and I mean for me he's one of the best players. Not ever, obviously, but right now he's one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree.
Like top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be more appreciated as as the years go by. I think he'll be one of those players that people will look back on and be like, the fact that he plays so hard, the fact that he competed, and the numbers that he puts up. I think more people will appreciate, what he was, probably further after his career was over.
Yeah, I hope so. He deserves it.
Absolutely. Now I want to shift gears a little bit and kind of talk. Usually with this podcast, we talk, about basketball, but we also talk about some important topics. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is that, you were one of the first, European or EuroLeague guys to speak out about the importance of mental health. So first of all, why did you decide to speak out? And, especially in Europe, now, I guess you could say in the States, and I guess you're saying in Europe a little bit now, it's becoming a little more accepted to talk about these things. But during the time when you kind of spoke out, among you, Kevin Love, and a couple other guys, and we're one of the first. And especially in Europe, it's almost, I guess you could say, looked at as weakness, I guess you can say, So first of all, I commend you. I never told you this in person, but I commend you for speaking out. I mean, I think it was very brave of you to acknowledge and to talk about this problem. But talk about that. What made you want to speak out and want you make your story public?
Well, especially two things. Obviously, after I left Oklahoma and we broke contracts, like nobody knew what was happening. So being like an NBA player, everybody was talking, and I read so many crazy stuff. Like I had like a cancer or like a big disease, like my father was dying, or like crazy stuff. And I realized that was like reading that over the days and the months, that was hurting me more. And I couldn't get away. Like in one moment I said, stop, like I need to tell this because of me, because I was getting mad or sad because I was seeing some things especially on the social media. And then also I wanted to talk it out because, as you said, like it was like a taboo, like nobody was speaking by that time about this mental health. And I knew like everybody at some point of his life is passing through some kind of problems.
Definitely.
Especially like maybe like me, maybe less, maybe even more. So by telling that, what I wanted to say is like it doesn't matter who you are and which position you are, how much money you make. Like this is completely normal to have these problems, and you have to speak out, obviously first with wife, family, friends, and then just trying to find like some professionals that can help you, because as I said, like this is like a sprained ankle or an ACL torn, like wherever. Something is physical, but the brain is a muscle. And when it gets sick, you get to treat it. So by sharing that video that I shared, I just wanted to say to the people that they're not alone.
Yeah.
That it's completely normal to have these mental problems, and with help you can just get away with it and heal them. As I said, after that everything went okay. I could get back to playing basketball, the thing that I loved and then hate, and I couldn't touch a basketball. And just because sharing and trying to find the people that helped me, I was able to do the thing that I loved from 3 years old or 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Were you surprised about the reaction, or were you nervous about the reaction, from the video? Were you nervous about, the way that teammates or coaches or, fans or your peers will respond?
By that time, I was so focused on what the people was talking before the video that I didn't think about what was going to happen. Obviously it went viral more than I thought, because I think it has like 1.2 million views on Twitter. So that's a lot. I didn't expect that, obviously. But I also was really happy, because that meant, and reading all the comments, they were like 99.9 positive.
Yeah.
That they were with me, helping me, and thanks for sharing that. And that also helped me seeing all the caring from the people that I didn't know, but they were there. It helped me also to get back to my life before that. Like playing basketball, being with my wife, just going outside my house to dinner or to whatever, the movie theaters. So I think it's really important to share. Obviously, I know it's hard, because I was a person that I don't like to talk about my problems.
Yeah.
Even with my wife, I have problems sometimes. But after that happened, like I realized, like you talk, maybe you're mad one day or something happens, you talk it out, and then the next day you feel better because you talk it out, you find the solution, and you're working to get better in whatever aspect, So that's where I learned, like just talk it out to whoever it is, maybe your best friend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, whoever, your brother, and it's gonna help you. Like it's not gonna nothing is gonna happen if you talk to somebody of your confidence, like the small circle you have. They're not gonna hate you. They're not gonna say like you're stupid or whatever. So you need to just open yourself and try to find a solution for your problem.
Now, when you don't have to get really into detail, but when you were going through this mental health, problems in OKC, what were some of the things that you were feeling, and then when did you first, I guess, understand that, that, because I think for a lot of us that deal with mental health problems or deal with this, I think the first thing is kind of denial. Like you don't think like, you're going through it. Like, you're just like, I'm going to get out of it. But when did you first understand that like this was, a true, I guess you would say, problem, and that was really affecting you?
So I stopped playing on the 25th, on Christmas Day in Houston. That was the day that I blocked and I couldn't play. So I would say like a month before or so, I got sick, or 1 or 2 months, and I was throwing up I think it was in Phoenix and a couple other cities. So we thought it was a virus. Then, something else happened. It was happening like physically, like I was getting sick, my headache or whatever. So after a couple of times getting this, and I didn't have fever, but I was having something, and I didn't have the passion that I had before to going to the practices or to the games. Like I didn't want to get out of my bed or whatever. I started realizing maybe something has happened to me. So I started talking to a professional here in Spain. He was helping me a lot, but it was enough. It wasn't enough because I was also in the routine at the same time of playing and practicing, and it was getting worse and worse every day. So as I said earlier, like on the 25th, I shocked. I had to talk to one of the assistant coach that he was practicing with me, and he speaks Spanish. So I tell him all the story. Talk to Sam Presti, who was the GM, and I mean, well, they helped me a lot. They said, okay, no problem, you stay in the locker room, calm yourself, and we'll figure it out. So from that moment on, I started talking to the psychologist of the team, and I was not practicing with the team at all. I was just going there when nobody was there, just talking to that girl, and I was getting better. I was almost like 3 weeks just by myself. I remember then going when Andrew Robertson, that he was injured, he was practicing. I was going there when he was there, kind of like start interacting with some of the players, and it was going good till I played 2 or 3 games in early February, and then I shocked again. And after that time, I knew I couldn't get better if I was thinking like, okay, I'm going to get away from the team, work on the mental health, and then at some point I have to come back to this situation.
Yeah.
So that was the moment I talked to the GM, to my agent, coaches, obviously. And then I said, like, look, this has happened to me. I don't think I can get away. So I was able to be in that position, that stop working and just get well. I know some of the people that are passing through this, they cannot stop working because they need that money. But I was a lucky man, and I could stop the basketball thing. And I remember the first or the second day I signed the papers. I felt better just by signing them, and said like, okay, there's no more pressure to come back.
Yeah.
Now I have my time to get well, to work on my mental health, and
work on yourself,
try to get better. But basketball was not like a thing just going through my mind that I had to play again one game. And yeah, that was pretty much it.
How do you feel as far as like in European basketball standards? How do you think we remove the stigma of being mental health looked upon as a weakness?
We're on the way. I think I still can see it, but much less, obviously. I don't know if I was the first one. I was one of the first, as you said, but you could see, like, especially like some sportsmen from I don't know, tennis, soccer, wherever sport, or famous people, actors, starting to speaking out of about mental health. So now it's kind of getting to the society. There's still people that they don't understand because they never had this issue, so they don't believe it could happen to them. But I think we're changing that that way that people were looking at these mental problems.
Now with social media, with fans, with family, with the pressure that you even put on yourself, I think it's a time period right now where the athletes are dealing with amongst, a huge amount of pressure. So as somebody that has gone through it, what advice would you give to athletes, especially younger athletes that are kind of coming up in this, how to find an outlet, to kind of deal with this pressure of being, a sportsman or, an athlete?
I mean, it's hard. It depends on the person, I guess. Obviously now it's even harder because, as you said, like, there's a lot of social media going on, and everything you do, it's on the social media immediately, So what I did is just delete all the apps, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Not Facebook, not that much, but especially Twitter, because, like, people, they like to speak.
Yeah.
And most of the times in a bad way.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to read that and say, like, okay, I don't care, then you have a problem.
Yeah.
So you need to learn that you're in a tough position because you're famous, and there's people that they're not famous, and they're gonna try to say bad things to you just because sometimes it's just because they want to, they don't have the life you have, or the facilities you have, the money, the life. So they're mad at you just because of that, not because you're a bad person or whatever. I have some cases that people were talking about me on Twitter, and I reply them, and then the next question, the next tweet was, "Oh, I'm sorry, I deleted the tweet. I'm sorry. Thanks for answering me." Like backing up, and you're saying like, "What would you said that in the first
What's
place?"
the purpose of the purpose of the whole conversation?
And that happens a lot, especially on Twitter. So it's kind of right now it's a tough time to to be in those social media, because you're so exposed that I don't know what advice can I tell you, because you're always going to hear something about people talking about you, if you did something good, if you had a bad game or whatever. So you just got to take care of your business. And I mean, as I said, you got your small circle, your teammates, and just talk to them. And whatever people say on the streets, you don't care. You don't have to care, because they don't know what's going on in your life or in the locker or in the games.
Absolutely true. How can EuroLeague teams, because you spoke about OKC, them having, a team psychiatrist, or a lot of teams in the NBA having, a mental health coach or somebody like that. How can teams in the EuroLeague help players deal with mental health or help them, with these issues that, that they face on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I don't know about most of the teams in Europe. Here we have a couple, but I think they're for the whole FC Barcelona. I don't know if soccer, but like hockey or handball. We had a couple girls. They work for us if you need them.
Yeah,
like they're not with us, but if you need at some point go and talk to them, you can always go. So I think it's really important to at least have one just in case. I'm okay if you don't want to talk like every week or every 2 weeks, because as I said, right now I wouldn't go to the psychologist once a week or or once every 2 weeks. But I want to be sure that if something's going on, I have a right person in the right spot that can help me out with mental issues. Right now it's kind of hard, especially, I don't know, I think in Spain, in basketball in Spain, the players look for that specialist outside the club. So I think, in Barcelona it's getting better, because we're trying to get some people, but I think it needs to be more important. Like you have like a physio, or we have 3 physios and 2 doctors, and on the team we don't have a psychologist. Why? So I think the future is to have one. It's like you have a doctor, you have a psychologist, because it's a muscle, like as I said before. So
yeah, man.
But I think it's getting better. Yeah, when people talking out, they're doing that. They're making that possible.
Yeah,
talking out, and it's out there. So
yeah, I agree. I think what ELPA has done too is by doing a mental health advisory board that allows players to need outlet as well. But I agree too. I think it's not where it should be at. But I think we are definitely light years ahead of where we were, I guess you could say, even 3, 4, 5 years ago. So, and I think a lot of that has to do with you too. Like I said, I think by you speaking out, and by you, having the success that you have had in your career, I think people have realized that this is an important issue. And I think that if somebody of yourself, or like somebody like high level athletes can deal with this, imagine with normal person or other people that maybe non-athletes are dealing with this as well.
Yeah, sure.
So the last, I have a couple last questions for you. The last question I say is, how important is mental health? Just kind of a general, your general feelings about it. How important is it, in life, not just in sport, I would say, but just in life in general?
It's really important. As I said, I had problems, and away from basketball, I couldn't get out of my bed. at the worst. So it's a big issue. I don't know how to explain the situation that I was, but I mean, maybe for at least a couple weeks, I didn't get out of on my house. So that's a lot of time for like, especially me, that I was a professional basketball player. Like, I was not doing exercises. I was just watching the TV with my phone or playing video games and eating. That was the only thing I was doing. So that can bring you like really big issues also in your health. Like, you're not eating well, you're not doing exercise. At the end of all, it's all connected, So I would say 50-50, the mental health is like 50% and the physical health, it's another 50, but they're connected. If you hurt, you get injured and you're away because you turn your ACL, your mental health is going to be really, really bad. But if your mental health is really bad, it's also going to cause problems in your physical, as I was throwing up, or I had headache, or you're getting fat and then you're having diabetes or some other bigger problems, So I think it's everything connected. So there's no one with the other.
I agree, man. Well, last question, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. I know it's a late night.
Yeah, don't worry.
The question I always ask, in this pod is, who is your favorite past and present EuroLeague player?
Past and present. Okay, past, I gotta say Navarro.
Oh, of course.
Obviously. No, but he was the guy I was looking at when I was a kid. So because I was a Barca fan, so yeah, I was always looking at Navarro. And then from now, that's a tough one, man. You should tell me before.
That's the whole part, man. It's the whole part. I got to spring it on you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one thing. The players that ask you this question, they say players from their former team or not?
It's been a mix. Honestly, it's been a mix. Yeah, it's been a mix of like players. Like some guys say players that are on their current team, but then they also say like former teammates that are playing elsewhere. So it's kind of been a mix.
I mean, I would say Pau right now, but
I mean, that's a good answer.
Besides Pau, yeah, I mean, there's no best option, I think, right now.
You can't go wrong with Pau.
Yeah, that's true. I'll go with Pau.
All right, man. Hey, man, that's a good answer, man. But I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Talking about this important topic, man. I appreciate you. Good luck, in all your upcoming games, except for the semifinal of the Final Four.
You already have a couple, man.
Hey, man, I'm stingy, man. I'm greedy. But just joking around, man. I definitely wish you best of luck, man. You've always been one of my, favorite players to play against. I love to see when you're playing well. Always smiling on your face, always laughing, man. So, always wishing you the best, man. And I thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.